Hello, hello. It's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I'm back. It is Sunday, what day is it? 18th, July 18th, sorry. July 18th, 2021. I hope everybody is well. It's been a very interesting and emotional roller coaster ride week for me. I don't know about all of you. I had the woman that I mentioned last week who was missing. They did find her. Unfortunately, she was in her car and was not alive. So that was more of a just, we weren't close friends or anything. She was someone who, when I would go back to Houston, I would see her. We were friends on Facebook, but she was just always really nice and kind. And they're doing a memorial service for her this week. So I'm hoping, sending love and support to all of those people, her loved ones and her children, as it really is a great loss. She really was a really good person. And then went to a funeral yesterday for a friend's mother, really in support of my friends more so than me. But I kind of wanted to talk about that and experience with that, because I really believe in manifesting and I really believe in faith and just trusting in your walk on your crazy spiritual journey here. And it'll kind of lead into Ashley sent a question. So hi, Ashley. It's going to lead into kind of talking about what your curiosity is. So I don't know if any of y'all have been to New York and street parking in New York. But I am a reverend in the Spiritualist Church of New York City. And when we were having services in person, they were on Monday nights, and I would have to drive into the city. And I wasn't every week or anything like that. They do them every other week. And there are more than just one reverend. There's more than just me as a reverend. So we all get to take turns sharing our inspirational talks. And when I would go, or either if I was doing that or doing, a message circle, I would meet my husband just outside the Lincoln Tunnel, and we would switch cars. So then he'd drive home with the kids, and I would drive into the city. And for a while, I was parking in garages, which, if you know, in New York, that can be very expensive. You can find really good deals, but they're not anywhere near where the church is it's on the Upper West Side. And I remember another reverend saying to me, "Oh, there's always parking." I'm like, "What?" And then I realized she's manifesting it. So I just decided every time I go into the city, I find parking. It's within 3 blocks. Like, it's just easy peasy lemon squeezing. And once I decided that, I found parking every single time. Like, no problem, easy peasy. Within three short blocks, north and south, and 1 block east or west of the church. Because I usually was having to hustle in, because just my husband could only take off of work so early to do this for me. And he was driving into work really early so that we could make this happen. So I decided yesterday when we were driving in, because the funeral was in the Bronx, and Saturday morning, and street parking can be a bit tight. And I said, and I drive because I get car sick really easily. So I prefer to drive. Otherwise I end up feeling terrible every time we get somewhere. And so I asked my husband, I was like, "Okay, look for parking, figure out parking nearby. And he said, "Just Google on your phone." And so he's like, "Well, I'll drop you off and then I'll go park, because there's a parking lot about 10 blocks. It's a 10-minute walk back." And I was like, "Nope, we're not doing that." And I said, "We're finding parking on the street. That's it. I've declared it." So in my head, I'm saying, we found parking on the street. There's plenty of parking I just keep repeating this. And then as we get closer, we were about a block and a half away. And I said, "Okay, start looking." And in my head, I'm saying, circumstances don't matter. Circumstances don't matter. We find parking. Circumstances don't matter. There's plenty of parking, because there was literally no parking. There was literally so I didn't want to get caught in the thought of going, "Oh my God, there's no parking. Forget it. We're screwed." Because we were really kind of cutting close. We had to wait for our babysitter in the morning. We were kind of cutting it close. And this is I don't want to be late for a funeral. That's just not for the funeral service, because it was the church service first, and then we went to the graveside, or not graveside. It was in a mausoleum, but you just don't want to be late for that. So I was and I'm not kidding you. So now we're on the block. We turn right. Now we're on the block of where the church is. And I'm like, driveway, driveway. And then I was like, oh my God. Literally right across the street from the front door of the church. So the church is there, and then on the other side of the street is there's the hearse, and our friends are standing there, and literally right across the street there was this huge parking space that I was easily able to parallel park in my Explorer. I normally, when I would switch cars with my husband, I would drive his car, which is a little bit smaller, and I was like, oh, and I literally was like, it is literally that quick. You can manifest that quickly, but you have to tell yourself circumstances don't matter. No matter what anything looks like in front of you, circumstances don't matter. So this is where we lead into Ashley's question. Are you ready, Ashley? I don't know how bad the delay is here. So you guys can be added to the list. They are, you do have to pay for them. They are $5 a question. 30% goes to, I always donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. I really like it. And so a little goes a long way. So I like to do that. All right, Ashley. So Ashley last week asked me about, and I'm recapping so everybody knows what I'm talking about in case you weren't here last week. Ashley last week asked me about a teaching position in France. She wants to remain in France. And she gave me, my nose is so itchy, y'all. People are talking about me. I don't know which one of you told me that last week, but people are talking about me. Anyway, so she asked me about this position in France, and she gave me, I think it was July 15th was the one date that they were going to talk about, and August 30th was the other date. And I felt they're going to decide August 30th. You'll get the job. They'll decide unanimously. Hello, everybody. Let me do this quick first. So I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. As in accordance with the law, all readings and divinations are for the purposes of entertainment only. You are responsible for all of your choices and decisions that you make in your life. Okay. Ashley. So she said, and then she emailed me when she made her payment, and she said, you said this last week. Well, they already decided on somebody else. And she wrote exactly what it said. And there was a caveat. We will keep you in consideration if anything comes up. And she says, I really want to stay in France. And all she can focus is on this job, not having it. I'm not going to say blah, blah, blah. So what I'm asking you to do, and I think that there's a really big reason why I want to talk a little bit more about the manifestation stuff. I really feel like drawn to talk about that. And I think it's really important for you guys to learn about this. I think some of the things that happen with me in the synchronicities, not only because I'm seeking out more knowledge and wisdom in a spiritual journey of my own, and I love sharing with you guys about this stuff. Sorry, I think I have a little apple in my tooth. But also because, TMI, also because we get caught up in what we got. I know what I got from my guides, and I know I felt August 30th, and I know I felt that for a reason, because I do feel like they'll change their mind. I do feel like something's going to happen with that candidate, and or they're going to need another position. Something is going to happen, and if it's not this one, I feel like there's a job for you. So, but I feel like the date that you're going to get the information is closer to August 30th. I feel that in me. So I'm asking you, Ashley, to do this. Circumstance, and say this over and over. When you start to feel nervous about it or fear, you stomp that out and you say, circumstances don't matter. I'm staying in France. Circumstances don't matter. I'm staying in France. Where there is a will, there is a way, and there is always a way. Circumstances don't matter. There is always a way. The universe has no obstacles. Nothing is impossible. I am staying in France. I have a job in France, as if you already have it. Don't worry about it. It will open it up. It will all come to you. I never miss an opportunity. These things, I never miss an opportunity. I'm staying in France. Everything works out. Best case scenario. Hello, M. So maybe it's an even better job that opens up for you. I am staying in France. Everything works out. Best case scenario. I know it's really, really hard when you feel worried, but I mean, I was worried about finding parking, and I was like, but I just decided we're finding parking at this. The universe can make anything possible. Literally the only spot available. And when we drove around, there was nothing, and cars were stacked, double and triple parked There was nothing. There was one huge ass space right across the street from the church. So when I say to you, the other thing that happened was her father, God bless him, so incredibly heartbroken. Her parents were married over 50 years. He in the church was like hot. So if you know a lot of the churches in New York, they're not air conditioned, and it was hot. It was blistering hot. He's wearing a suit, and he's just like heartbroken and overcome with grief. And he's basically having to be carried out of the church because he couldn't stand up. And then they had him sitting on the steps, and lo and behold, an ambulance happens to drive by, and I think they stopped. Like, it wasn't, nobody called them, but he ended up having to go to the hospital because I think he was dehydrated and had low blood pressure and multiple. He's okay. He's home now. But I'm telling you, everything happens perfectly and beautifully. I'm telling you, if you really open your eyes, there's so much magic and beauty in the world. I'm telling you, it's there. There's so many incredible things happen all the time. You just have to trust that they'll happen to you too. And they do. You found me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But truthfully, like, okay, so after the email, so that's what you have to do is like, so when I tell people, I'll give people readings a lot, and I'm like, look, I'm picking this up, right? So it might be a physical thing, like medical thing, because we do panic when we get medical stuff. And I'm like, I'm picking this up, like with a lot of women, sometimes I'll get, thyroid or breast things. And I'm like, what I'm telling you is you're going to find out something, like, or they're going to call you back for another thing. And I'm not picking up anything major. So please don't panic. So what I'm picking up with you is just, please don't panic. I still feel like you're going to get it. And I don't know if it's like, it just kind of felt like either that one's going to fall apart, or there's going to be a position for you and you're going to stay. So just, even as you get closer to the date, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's still haven't heard anything yet. Stop it. Just go, that's it. I'm staying here. I am staying here. And just in your head, I'm staying here. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm staying here. I don't know how, but I'm staying. I had plenty of times where my contracts were coming close to ending. And like, if my contract ended as a travel nurse, I was homeless within 2 days of the end of the contract. Like, that's it. Like, I had all my stuff in storage in Houston, and I had zero. I mean, I could, like, obviously my mom would probably take me in for a little bit, but like, that's also not like ideal either, being a grown adult living with your parents or living with your mom. I'm single. Like she's used to her own space and all of that stuff. Like, it's just not ideal, but it's like, and also like, I like money coming in. But just trusting that, well, something will come through. I don't know yet what, but something's coming through. And that's sort of how I feel, is like, just really fully dig in deep and trust it's coming through. It's coming through. It's coming through. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. I also remember when I first wanted to do travel nursing, like, there was plenty of jobs in Long Island and Brooklyn and the Bronx and all of that. And I was like, no, I want my first position to be in Manhattan. And I did end up taking travel assignments like in Brooklyn. I won't name the hospital, but I was like, but it was a one assignment thing. And then I was back in Manhattan, but I wanted to be in Manhattan. So I just decided, and everything fell into place. And what's funny is I ended up taking this one job in April of like 2006. And like, I think an assignment or two assignments later, I met this woman who was like, oh, I was supposed to come then, but then like something didn't work out. And I was there. So I got her spot. So what I'm telling you is, maybe that person's supposed to be there, but that person, he or she will end up there later. So just trust, things fall into place perfectly. Yes. Okay. So I know you're staying in Manhattan. So now I'm asking, or not Manhattan, France. You're staying in France. Stay in France. Forget Manhattan. So what I'm telling you is what they're giving me is really dig into your I ams. Really dig into your thought processes. The other thing I doubt a lot myself. This is truthful. Like, where I was like, I don't know, should I do affirmations? Because like there's 8 billion other people who are doing them. And then my guides are kind of like, yeah, but maybe you're supposed to be doing it. Like, and then I keep coming across things over and over where like, I'm reading a Wayne Dyer book right now, Wishes Fulfilled or something. I found like it's on the library app. I love the library app. So I'm reading it, and And I'm reading him and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. Cause he's like, yeah, my mentor, Neville Goddard, or like I read the Tao Te Ching, and then I wrote a thing on the Tao Te Ching. And then I read like he's like, and it just like made me realize like throughout the centuries, there have been hundreds of people teaching this information. So why not me too? And then like I'm sitting there doing the dishes before I came down here, well, and laundry and and all the other things that have to get done, that we all have like other things. And I realized I'm like, I mean, it would be so stupid to think that you're not capable of doing something or something's not possible for you, because like, think about doctors. Like, can you imagine someone's like, well, there's a million other doctors. Why should I go to med school? Like, what? So just trust that you're given the inspiration to be there for a reason. There's a reason for you to be there, and just trust that like, I am here. I am this. My feeling is, so I don't know what it is, but it's just like, you're going to get a job. I don't know exactly what happened, but so it was kind of like, well, maybe that person falls through. Like, it literally wasn't, to me, it wasn't like, I could have gone to the place where when you said like, oh, I could have gone to that place that as a reader I could go to, as, oh, I was wrong. And then also like feel bad about myself. But I was like, no, I'm not wrong. I know what I got. So maybe I didn't see it full. Like maybe they weren't giving me the full picture. Like, you're not going to get that one, but this is going to come through. It's like, you're going to have a job there and you're going to stay there and they're going to pick you unanimously. So maybe it's this new job you're interviewing for. I'm not 100% sure on that. I wish I could tell you I can see everything. In my circles, I teach people this, right? So you have a water bottle. It's empty. I know. Forgive me. It's a single-use plastic, but I'm holding on to it because it's a great example. Okay, so you have a water bottle. We all know, if we were just to look at this, we all go, oh, look, it's a water bottle. I see the whole big picture, right? So if we're sitting in a circle and we're reading in a circle, why do people get different information, or why do I not see the whole picture? Well, maybe I'm seeing this big part of it here that says Poland Springs, and I'm not being paid by Poland Springs, so, and I'm not asking for it, but I'm just using this example. Okay, so if I have this, like, right, I'm seeing this big picture, right? So maybe the big picture I'm seeing is you're getting a job, they vote unanimously, and I'm seeing it closer to the state. But I'm not getting all the details like, well, it wasn't that one, but it's this other one, da, 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 da. But like maybe somebody else would get all the tiny little details. Like I'm seeing little jobs and I'm seeing, the color of the school and blah, 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 but they can't exactly tell you what it is. Like, but it's still a big water bottle, still talking about that job. So, sorry, I didn't know if it was me with a thing on my face or my screen. So what I'm just trying to tell you is that I'm sorry that it wasn't like perfectly detailed to give you all of that, like that it would, that one wouldn't work out, whatever. But I do feel you staying there, 1,000% feel you staying there. So I don't know if it's that it falls through and then it's somebody else, or if it's at this other job, but whatever it is, I feel like you get hired. It's a unanimous decision. They love you and you have a job. Do you have a second question? But I think that that's also like a really good, I really love how all the synchronicities that happen. And when you come here, you get to like find out about different, whatever things that are going on with people, because maybe in some other aspect in your life, something that's going on, instead of dropping into fear and worry, you go, I can apply that story and that sort of situation to what I'm going through now. That's kind of what so not only am I reading Wayne Dyer, I went and while I was doing work and stuff, because you can't read and work, it just doesn't work well. I was listening to the entire works of Florence Scovel Shinn on Audible, because it's one of the free things that you can get on Audible. And I've read that before. I've listened to it before. And something kind of clicked this time where I was like, yeah, where it's kind of like, there's just so many other things intermingling. And what I thought was really cool is that at the beginning of it, it says they talk about the Lord because she applies it to the Bible. And really in any of the Christian prayers where it says, Lord have mercy, it changed Lord to law. So the law has mercy on me. And when I was sitting in the service yesterday, because I haven't been to a Catholic service in forever, I was baptized Catholic, so I'm familiar with them. And both sides of my family are Catholic. And then when the people that decided not to be Catholic anymore, they all became Episcopalian, which is basically laid back Catholic. All very similar prayers and services and stuff. It started making me look at the verses of the Bible and the prayers differently when I replaced Lord with law. It's just all really fascinating when you start to dig into all of it and how so many texts and so many belief systems have been teaching this for so long. Okay, so for my next question, I don't know if I should ask about this next interview or ask for messages from my dad. What do you want to do? It's up to you. It's your money, your time, your inquiry. You can think about it for a minute and let somebody else go first. Hi, Michelle. So I'm going to check my PayPal, see if anybody else has purchased questions. How is everybody doing? Thank you, Dan, if you're here. Please be kind to KK. I adore her. She's an amazing, dependable human being and soul. That was like, honestly, I can't believe how lucky I am to have her in my life. KK, would you kindly add Starry Sky for 2 questions after Rockdon? And then, hang on, I know the screen name. Lightning Spark has 1 question. Hi, Serena. So, Ashley, if you don't know what you want, Devry, are you here? You're up next, or Rakdana, you could start yours, and then Ashley can think about what she wants. There's no rush, no pressure. This isn't really answering your question. I just feel like you posted it. Let me see. Your dad, George. Okay, let's see if we can talk to George today. Have I connected with him before? I just felt like a really a raspy voice, or like I need to clear my throat kind of feeling. And it's a deeper voice. Does this make sense? And did he have a mustache? And I have a huge awareness of my chest right now. So either passed from something with the lungs or the heart. Okay, so then I'm connecting with him. It's funny, he came through like right away, and I see like not fully gray hair, like dark, and then like salt and pepper, but it feels like kind of like it's not really short and kept, and there's like a bit of a curl or a wave to it or something. And I feel like it's this feeling of being really proud of my hair. Like that he had a thick head of hair is the feeling I got. Like, it's just like, I don't know. He had several strokes. Okay, because he's like really like, I just feel like he fixed it, and he really like it's like thick and nice hair. But it's funny to me because it's like this pride around his hair, which sounds strange because you're like, but like what a great Like that's what's coming through. Is like he doesn't necessarily, like he's showing me the test. So I my sense is like you can have a heart attack and throw a clot and then have a secondary stroke type thing. And my sense is like, it's like, I want to be aware that this is what happened, but also let's focus on my hair. Like, isn't it great? You can still donate, Autumn. No, Lauren Jean, you're not. And you did pay last week. So go ahead and ask your question. I forgot. I didn't forget that you paid because I saw it earlier, but I did forget to ask you, enter, put your name on the list. You're on there. Hi, Taylor. So let's see, George, do you have any messages? So he said, you're going to be okay. I'm not going to let things fall through. And it's just this really calm, reassuring voice. And I feel like it's that he's not saying this, but it's the feeling of like, even when you were little, you would get nervous or anxious about something. And he always felt calming, like would have the calming thing to say. And then he's showing me what looks like, it sort of reminds me of this little lotus charm I have on here. It's, I don't know, you can do that? Yep. So it's something that feels like a pendant or a piece of jewelry, or like, it almost reminds me of the shape of like do you know what Girl Scouts, like, were you a Girl Scout by chance? Because it looks like to me this, and I don't have one near me. I'd have to run upstairs to get it, but it looks like this Girl Scouts pin that they wear on their, either their sash or their vest, whichever they decide to wear. And it's the Girl Scouts emblem pen, where it's kind of like the outline, like this lotus thing. Okay, then that's what, because I saw that. I'm like, I don't know if you're a Girl Scout, but it looks like, if you look at the Girl Scouts little thing, it looks kind of like the leaves or whatever. It looks kind of like that. And it said, he was showing me that. Were you in it for a long time? Because it's also this feeling of it being like it's sparkling or shining or something. You had the pen. Okay. Four years is pretty long. A lot of them drop out pretty early. My oldest daughter was like, I think she did it for 2 years, and she was like, like, she liked all the artsy crafty things. She didn't want to do all the like science and STEM and stuff like that. Like, she's more creative. My middle daughter, my youngest, is too young, but she was an honorary one because she had to be dragged along since I was a leader. But my middle one is like all in it. She just loves all of it. I don't know. He's just showing me little things, and it's sort of like that idea of remembering who you are. You know, when you were a little girl, you were so confident and so proud of yourself, and like the sky was the limit. And it's sort of just that feeling of remember who you are. You know, you learn with these, like when I say to listen to Dylan James, it's like reprogramming. And when I'm reading, like when I'm listening to the Florence Scovel Shinn stuff and reading the Wayne Dyer stuff, and he's referring to Neville Goddard and all these other people, they all sort of tell that thing, and they say it in different ways, where it's like, I am is a very powerful statement. You look at the Bible, it's like, you know, God is speaking to Moses in the burning bush, and he's saying, you know, you're going to go and rescue the Israelites from Egypt. And he's saying, well, who should I tell sentiment? It's I am that I am. You know, God is the I am. And so if you say I am followed by something negative, we all have that God spark within us. It's like, and Wayne Dyer uses this beautiful example, and I really like it. It's like if you say God is the ocean, right? For an example, God is the ocean, and you take a bucket of water from the ocean, which would be like our soul spark, out of the ocean. Is it still the ocean? Well, no, yes, it's still the ocean water. It's just not as vast and expansive, and it is prone to drying up quicker, right? So you have to, have that belief system and replenish. And the resurrection, rather than like the crucifixion of Christ, the resurrection is moving into your higher self, and your higher self is, I am wonderful, I am expansive, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I am a master creator, right? I am a teacher in France, right? So if you focus on, I'm not letting anything work out and stuff, and I feel like your dad is sort of reinforcing that, like, remember who you were when you were little. That was that little girl that was like, I am, anything is possible, right? I am capable of anything and everything. I am going to be fill in the blank. And he kissed you on the forehead just now, and he said, it's all going to work out. It's all going to be okay. And he's showing me a rainbow. So I don't know if there's a significance with him in the rainbow, but I'm seeing a rainbow. May I leave you with that? I'll check Autumn, okay? All right. So Devry, you're up. Rakdan, are you here? I don't know why I always have a hard time saying your screen name, and I can say your real name very easily. Sorry. Hi, Pallavi. Hello, Divine Goddess. Okay, Devry. Did you pay twice, Devry? Yes, Devry did pay twice. I see it. I know you're good. I just didn't see it before. Forgive me. Also, please add Becky to the list twice for 2 questions, and Autumn to the list for a question. And Lauren, did you pay for 1 or 2 questions last week? I don't want to dig back through. Sorry. I'll just take your word for it. And Autumn. All right. Yeah, I was just adding Becky. I was just adding you to the list to make sure that you're on there, so that KK has you on there. Okay, so here we go, Devry. I've been applying to remote jobs. Will I get one or something else? And then just a general. So the time frame I got immediately when I was reading that, I saw, like, before I even got to the or something else, I got 2 weeks. So I feel like it's very quick that you'll either hear of something and do the interview stuff, or you'll actually get offered within 2 weeks. It feels very quick. Are you doing? Oh, that's okay. I appreciate you keeping your ear out, Becky. Why do I keep bleeding? Like, it's weird, but it's like I feel like food around the job. So not like you're eating but is it a job that either like it's doing the marketing for food companies or something like that? Does that make any sense at all? Or maybe you're eating. Like, but it doesn't feel like it feels like a restaurant. So maybe, I don't know, are you eating takeout? I don't know, there's something weird about it, but I know that what I'm getting is connected to something with you, but I don't understand it. Like I'm like it literally feels like I'm like, I don't know why Burger King or something like that, where I'm like, what is that? That's why I'm like, are you dealing with marketing? There's something else with that. So it's also really important that you do the same thing that I'm telling Ashley to do, where it's like circumstances don't matter. Instead of worrying like, oh my God, I'm not going to get a job, or it's just circumstances don't matter. I know the universe is bringing me the perfect job. So if you don't know exactly which one you want or where you want, and it's like, circumstances don't matter. I don't like, it's happening quickly. It's coming to me. This is my job. I have this money coming in. I am hired. I'm working remotely, and it's the perfect job for me. Hi, Destiny. Destiny, they're not free. And I don't believe in twin flames. So welcome. I do charge $5 per question. 30% goes to, I donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, because a little goes a long way there. And it is about energy exchange. When I was doing these for free, people became very demanding and not very respectful. So I had to shape it a little differently in order to set healthy boundaries for myself. That said, let's go to a general for Deborah, since that's what you wanted next. So they're talking about keeping your head and your heart in alignment, because I felt like this almost in my heart chakra, feeling like a crevice, or I don't want to say like shattered or something like that, because it just feels like, but like there's a separation. So the way they're showing me is like more energetic, right? So like there's a separation in the energy. It's not fully aligned, and like feeling off and not fully aligned with. So your head, meaning your crown, your third eye, and your throat chakra, like just everything kind of related in here, which is your higher self. Your heart is too, but I just feel like not in alignment, not aligned. And so it sort of feels like when your head is telling you one thing, right? This is like in your mind, you're saying like, it's like it's lying to you. You're still giving into all the fears, the doubts, the resentments, the worries. And they're sort of like, get in alignment. And alignment doesn't mean I'm doing all of these, like I visualize the line, blah, blah. Alignment in your highest being, right? Could you imagine if God is the I am, right? In the temple, where you go to connect with God, the I am part of you, right? Now let's take it as if God was separate from you, even though you have a God spark in you. So technically you're a part of the whole, right? This is just flesh and blood, which is nothing. Something, but it isn't your spirit. Like this isn't what brings you life, right? If that was true, then when you die, there would still be some kind of animation here, but neither here nor there. That's confusing. So my point being, if you had this guy that you worshiped, this being that you worshiped outside of you, and that being was going, well, I'm not good enough. I'm just so. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, that job, they're not going to want me. Like, would you be like worshiping that? No. Would you be following that? No. So your I am here needs to fall in line to be in full alignment with your highest being, right? You need to be full alignment with your highest being. And they're sort of saying like, I am love. I am a divine being. I am the creator of my universe. My mind, my thoughts create my reality. Your perspective changes everything. You cannot be a powerful being and then think you're lacking. You can't. So our earthly what the Christians like to call the devil or evil coming to get you. It's really your negative thoughts kind of overtaking your lower self, your ego overtaking everything. So they're sort of saying it's not about being positive all the time, because that's hard. And also, that negative stuff helps us check where we're at, if we're in alignment or not. It's a reflection. The negative stuff going on out here and their negative emotions are a reflection of what's going on in here, and shows us where we're out of alignment. So they're markers. They're not to be vilified or anything. I think they're fabulous tools. And also, you should feel your emotions, because they are full of motion and they need to move. Trying to push them down isn't going to help you. They just want you to be aware of your self-talk, because that's creating your experience. And be also like, release any kind of shame or guilt for not being where you think you should be, because there are lessons in all of the places that you have been. And there's guidance and wisdom in all of those experiences you have had. And so be grateful for them. They said, you are a magnificent being, and you need to tell yourself that. You are a magnificent being, and you need to tell yourself that. And the I am is what creates. So if you were like, I'm poor, it's like you bring that into you. I'm not poor. It's like you bring that into you, right? If you have that belief system, you're going to keep, it's got to keep showing up. You're the screenplay writer in here. Imagine like, what is it? Is it, it's that Will Smith movie, Men in Black. And there's that one little alien who, like, the head opens up and he's in there driving around. So imagine that this little being in here is the creator of all of these experiences, and it's writing screenplays. And then the screenplay has to come out here. It has to show up in your 3D. It has to play out. And all the characters in there will show up by various different people in your life. So if you're constantly saying like, I'm not enough, I'm not valuable, maybe they just don't want me, there's something wrong with me, right? You're I aming yourself into the negative spots, then that's got to show up in all these people in your life, and all these experiences that are going to show up and remind you, yep, we're fulfilling your play. Isn't that a great place? So you've got to shift this in here. And an easy way is listening to the I am stuff. But by the way, I have my manifestation. Like I recorded it. I need to re-record it, because I recorded it and it's got, I had to do it in sections, because I have kids and it's really hard to sit for 30 minutes when they're home and get a silent recording. If you have children, you know. So I'm going to re-record them, and because they're like at two different sound levels. I'm not a sound engineer, so I don't have all the equipment to like zhuzh it up on my own. That said, I will get it done because I really think it's important. But so if you're doing it in your sleep, you can start to reprogram a little bit quicker, but it's still like, 30 nights of sleep, 21 to 30 nights of sleep, and re-recording this. The other thing is it's just in your head. Like when you start to feel like, when I started to feel the worry about like, oh, I'm seeing all these cards, I'm like, nope, I'm going to go back into the, like, it's done. Everything is possible. There are no such things as obstacles. And also I learned a long time ago, like, oh, you don't want to say no, but that's not really true, because we don't always, just, you can think the way you think and it'll come through. So if you're like, but instead of wanting something, it's as if you already have it. That's like the biggest thing. So it's coming to you. It's here. It's mine. I have it. Circumstances don't matter. So whatever appears out here, that's the old story. That's got to play out, but it doesn't matter, because there are no obstacles, and anything is possible, right? Everything that ever is, was, and will be was always started with a spark of belief here. Okay? That's your message, Miss Devery. Rakdan, you want to go ahead and start your questions? Okay, so why is your sister so jealous? Like literally the first thing I got is just she's incredibly insecure. She's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly insecure. So it's not really about her. It's all about, I mean, not really about you. It's all about her. And when people are that incredibly insecure, they project onto you. Um, so what can you do? Because great, I told you that. What can you do to help that? So it's so you can do the I ams where you work on your core belief system about yourself. It's the, I am secure, I am whole. The only person's opinion of me that matters is my own. The only validation and appreciation that I need is my own. And then you can throw one in there for like, my sister celebrates me, or I celebrate me, and therefore, right, I celebrate me. I lift myself up. And therefore, if I do that, it has to show up in my 3D, which means other people celebrating me and lifting me up. And that sort of shifts everybody. So if you shift your core inner stuff, it'll end up kind of shifting that stuff too. So I value me. I respect me. I set healthy boundaries. I respect my healthy boundaries. Because really the only person that has to respect your boundaries is you. Like you can say, like, I always use the purple shoes example because it's like seems so absurd, but you're allowed to have whatever boundaries you want, right? So you're not allowed to wear purple shoes in my house. I really don't care if you wear purple shoes, but like say this is my boundary, right? So you can't wear purple shoes in my house. And like it doesn't mean I don't want to be friends with you, but just like, can you take them off outside? And if the person's like, no, the people down the street say it's okay to wear purple shoes. You can wear purple. Like nobody says that. That's the weirdest thing. And you're like, yeah, but like, it's not weird. There's nothing wrong with me. I just don't want you to wear purple shoes in my house. So like maybe we meet somewhere else. And so you're the only one who has to respect that. So if you are like, I guess if everybody else says it's fine, then I guess it should say it's fine. Like you're not respecting your own boundaries. So respect your own boundaries. And then if somebody else doesn't, like they either don't need to be a part of your life or you work ways around to still accommodate them in your life, but yet not that let them cross those boundaries. Okay. So it just feels like learning, like, so when you do these affirmations, it's, I set healthy boundaries. I respect my boundaries that I set. I respect myself. I create this respect within me. And if all of that respect happens, then it has to show up in your 3D. Remember, you're writing it here. It has to show up on the 3D here. And don't go, oh, it didn't happen right away. Well, for some people, it does take a little bit more time. It's not an instant one until you start getting used to manifesting and the thought process and how it changes and seeing how it can happen extremely rapidly. Sometimes it does take a little bit more time. There's like these subtle blockages that you may have. So it's, I release any and all blocks that stop me from manifesting my wants and desires. I deserve my desires. Like if you were a God being, right? And you were worshiping this God and they were like, well, maybe it's just not meant to be for me to have what I want. And you're like, but you're a God. Like, right? So like, why can't you have what you want? There is no like punishment and things like that. Why can't you have what you want? When you start to move from a higher place and from an I am place, you also tend not to be that crazy, superficial, selfish, like maniacal person. Because you recognize that like we're all a part of a whole, we're all interconnected. I mean, I haven't heard of someone being enlightened and yet being like Trump. Trump's not really enlightened, right? He still has the sense of lack and limitations. Because if he didn't, I don't know, so much there. So that's sort of what I feel like is shifting that. So let's look at question 2 now. So take your power back. So it's the only person that has power over me is me. There, no one else has the power to shift my emotions. I am powerful. I can self-regulate my own emotions. So question 2 is when I may have a new love or love in my life, anything on love. And then if you could clarify question 3, I'm just not fully sure what that one means. I would appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at love for Rajdan. It's customary to have an arranged marriage, correct, for you? Because I'm getting 3s. So it feels like there's something about like 3 weeks and then 3 months, and there's another 3, but I think that's connected to something else. So it may be that in 3 weeks' time you hear of someone new coming in, and then 3 months' time is when you meet them. But it's something about 3s and the timing wise, and it feels quick. So it could be that you're doing a lot of these manifestation, I am programming things. Look, and I think we talked about this before, but like getting this faulty programming when you're younger, and I don't feel like it's intentional, and it is passed down generationally and societally is kind of, reinforces a lot of these belief systems. Um, yes. So it feels like your self-worth is going to just amp up. And so maybe it's that then all of a sudden this person comes in 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, like in 3 months you meet. And then because there might be that time difference between hearing about them and meeting them. So I don't know if it's customary for because it feels like you hear about them, or maybe your father hears about them, or your mother, something, there's some connection to your parents hearing about them. So maybe they hear about them, and then there's kind of a back and forth, and then your parents meet this man first, and then you meet him in 3 months. But there's a slight delay, but it feels like because there's all these meetings in between. And it feels like this goes well. And I think a huge part of that is the fact that you're shifting your belief systems about your value and your worth, and that confidence that comes through, and that you attract someone better. I don't know why there would be an additional fee to PayPal. I usually absorb all of your fees. That's the truth. So you pay the flat $5 Leo sign, and that's what it is. But even if it wasn't, I would have to say that's my boundary. but I end up absorbing whatever fees there are. So I don't get the full $5, and I still pay 30% from the $5 too. So I'm not going to give it for free, because I already don't really get much from these anyway. Okie doke. Okay. Hang on, Becky. I'll get to you in a second. Okay. And then what was your third question? He'll be fine. He'll be a good fit. And you don't even have to worry about all of that, because you know that that's what you're bringing in and you're calling in. What does this do? Might eat on her own. I was planning to take her to Kokila Ben, but left this idea because of COVID. Hope she'd be fine. Who is she? Oh, your mom. Okay. I don't think she's fully. They're making me feel like, oh, okay. Sorry. I'm like, is that a restaurant? Sorry, because I was confused for a minute. That sounds like, is that some kind of fancy restaurant you want to go with, Swathi? Sorry. Thank you. Are they checking her blood sugars? Because I don't know that she's actually in a coma, or otherwise I feel like her blood sugars might be kind of all over the place, that there's something going on with her blood sugars. All right, we're going to talk about that desperation, Leo, because that's not going to let you find anything. Okay, so find out if they're doing blood sugar checks, and ask them to do blood sugar checks, especially when she goes into those state where she's unconscious. Okay, that's my feeling, is that there is a blood sugar issue. All right. I do think they might be caring for her, but I don't know. So I can tell you that in certain settings, doctors actually listen to nurses and like, hey, like you should do this, and other settings. And so I don't know what the medical system is there, because even between states like Texas and New York, I remember like when I was at Texas Children's, doctors would like, and I'd be like, I think they need this. And and they'd be like, okay. And I even had one doctor where I was like, can you hold off on the surgery and humor me? Because I sort of wonder if this is going on. And they did. Like if something was going on was related to something else. And like New York, I remember being like, this kid needs to go to ICU. And they're like, you're going to tell the doctor that? I'm like, yeah. Because they were residents. And I had been a nurse longer than they had been in school. So I was going to use but so I don't know what it is there, if they're not listening to the order or whatever, but it's something for you, because you have to advocate for your mother, right? Something for you to mention, like someone mentioned something. You don't even have to say the psychic. Just say, someone I was talking to mentioned maybe her blood sugars are off. Have you guys checked them? That's all you have to say. And it'll ping a little thing to them. Like they can say either yes or no. And if they haven't, then say, when she gets like that, would you check her blood sugars? Okay. All right. Starry Sky, Lightning Spark. And then while I'm waiting for Starry Sky and Lightning Spark to type their questions, I will see if we can hear from Evan. Okay, Lauren? I'm not getting anything about that. I just feel like I'm drawn to the blood sugar thing right now. Okay. Okay. You're welcome. All right, Lauren. Let's see if Evan shows up. Lauren, are you here? Was Evan short of breath, or would there have been a reason he wouldn't be able to like breathe deep towards the end of his life, or that would have caused his passing? I just feel like I'm not getting enough oxygen. Confused by this. Hang on, let me see what this is. Did you, Leo sign, did you put in a payment and then withdraw it and ask for it back? I don't understand why. I'm confused. Because I have one payment here, and then I have a thing for to withdraw it and not pay it. And I have a really good PayPal standing, so I don't really feel like having something weird on there. Uh-huh. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here, Lightning Spark. Lauren, are you here? Yeah, I saw the paid $5, but then it also says minus $5, like a requesting for me to pay you or something. Like there's something weird on there. No, Lightning Spark, you didn't. Go ahead and type your question. Lauren, Jane, are you here? Okay. All right. Then I'll forget about it. Okay, so let's see. Patricia, I got yours. And Kayla, Kay, I got yours. So Autumn, Leo sign. I'm not, hang on. So Lauren, Jane, are you here? Because it's hard to do mediumship stuff if I can't, because it's like calling a number and asking for somebody and then like needing to yell back to you to make sure I have the right person on the line. How long is the list? I'm trying to get people to answer me. Lauren, Jane, I'm going to have to, honest to God, I'm going to have to give you your money back. I can't be waiting around for everybody to like pop back in. It's very distracting. Okay. So Starry Sky, if you want to ask, and Lightning Spark asked, okay, how does Zoraida feel about me at the moment? I took care of it, Leo sign. We're good. And then, so Lightning Spark wants to know, how does Zoraida feel about me at the moment? So I feel like she's interested, but I also feel like kind of like not materialized, not like fully there. So it's like I'm kind of in and out, like kind of like ghost like. So I don't know if she's fully ghosting you, but it's just this feeling of like not being fully present. Does that make sense when I say that? So K needs to be on the list too, KK. Okay. So they're keep bringing me back. This is like, I'm going to keep reinforcing this I am thing, this I am valuable, I am worthy, I am chosen, I am wanted, I am lovable, I create love within me, all of those I am things. So if you're feeling not good about yourself and you're not feeling good enough and you're focusing on receiving that feeling good outside of yourself, you're never going to get it. Remember, creation happens here, right? That screenplay is written here. If you're writing up here that you're not valuable and your underlying thoughts is, you have to look at your underlying I ams, right? So like, nothing works out for me. I'm just never the chosen one. Like all of that has to show up. That's the subconscious stuff. Like we're constantly telling ourselves stories about how our world exists all throughout the day. So become present, become aware of what your experiences are, and create what it is you want, and stop telling yourself that old stuff. When you're doing it, when you're creating that belief system, it does take a little bit longer if you're doing it throughout, like in the waking conscious state. If you're doing it as you sleep, it happens a little bit quicker. But it all happens. Think about it. You're manifesting your entire life. Now consciously manifest it instead of just allowing it to happen. So you've been on here a couple times and you ask about different girls. And I always feel like the underlying is this like Eeyore energy that you have. I think you're nice. I do. I think you're a really good person. And I think you're a really good person who doesn't feel really good about themselves. And so it's sort of that ho hum feeling, like ho hum, life just happens to me. It's like, take life by the balls. Like, it's fucking magical, and it's a magical world. And like, when you figure out how to game the system in here, it's easy. It flies. And like, why not be this like amazing creator of your experience instead of just feeling like life just happens to you? It doesn't. You're a really good person, and you have a really good heart, and you deserve everything that you want, that love and stuff. But start loving yourself and creating that. Another person, I think it was Doreen Virtue, wrote one time, was like, you need to become the things that you want. Like, start living as that person that you see yourself as being. Like, if you want someone who is financially stable, who is neat and tidy, who is highly organized, who is athletic, then you need to be financially stable, neat and tidy, and athletic and highly organized. Why? Do you think that person is going to want to be with a slob who's lazy? Probably not. Right? So it's not that you're not enough. It's that if you want those things, you sort of have to create like, oh, I am lovable. You want somebody to be in love with you. You have to love yourself first. And let me scrap that because I've heard people say like anybody like they're like it's not that you're not lovable. So it's not that somebody couldn't fall in love with you as you are now. Totally could happen, right? Totally 1,000%. You're lovable just as you are right now. But you want quality, right? And you're quality. But if all you're doing is doing this lower vibrational, like, and you're willing to accept the little bit that shows up, that's all you're gonna get. But you're quality. So you own that. I'm quality. I deserve quality, right? I deserve that person to show up in the like best fucking form because I'm amazing. Am I perfect? Exactly as I am. Yes, I am. Exactly as I am. I'm perfect just like I am. Doesn't mean you need to be the perfect body, the perfect this, but like own it. Also, like think about it. If you go out on a date with someone and like, I remember going on a date with this guy who was like, I dated him for a little while. God bless me for thinking that was all I was worth. But he was like, I'm a dime a dozen. Well, fuck, maybe I thought that I was a dime a dozen and that's why that was showing up. But like, he literally said that, like, and it was like such a turnoff. I was like, like, it didn't last long because I wasn't like thrilled to hang out with somebody like that. So like, here, Mr. Lightning Spark. Yeah, I do feel like she's around, but it just feels like, and so I feel like you expect things to be off or not to work out or people to not show up. And it's sort of like, why wouldn't she show up? You're amazing. And you need to go into that I am. Our world and our society is like, there's something wrong with you if you think you're too amazing. You're way too like ego-based. But really, ego-based is the lower level shit. That's your ego. The higher level shit says, you're fucking amazing. You're a wonderful human being. You are the light spark of God that runs through each and every one of us. So people have ego wrong when they're saying like, oh, they're so ego-based. Like, no, you're wonderful and amazing. We are all wonderful and amazing beings because we are a spark of light of God within us. And who wants to follow God if God is like, well, I'm mediocre. I'm just like everybody else. Like, nobody would worship that. Nobody. Sorry, Sky, are you here? I'm sorry I'm like railing it in. Because I see you show up several times and it's the same feeling. And and I've been there. And I think if I can help somebody not have to go through that and they can learn it, to feel good about themselves and to recognize how beautiful and amazing they are, why not? Lauren Jane, are you here? Starry Sky, are you here? Hi, Gia the model. I don't know why I just read it as Jen the model. I like Gia the model better. Thank you, Dan. Okay. Oh, there you are, Starry Sky. Yay. I hope you're feeling well. Ooh, no boundary. I had one of those. He was telling me that I had to trim things and do this and do that, and doesn't even live here year round. Nice enough guy. But yeah, I think I pissed him off, but he is a nice man, but I had one of those. Okay. Ready? All right, a general, let's do it's going to be the same thing with the no boundary thing. So I suspect this is not the only person in your life with no boundaries. So it's learning to get comfortable with your voice and opening your throat chakra and advocating for yourself. And hi, Regine. And saying, like the only one who has to respect my boundaries is myself. So it's like setting firm, like they knock on your door and show up and you're not ready for a visitor or whatever, don't answer the door. Send them a text and just say, like, I see that you stopped by. It's really lovely. Maybe we can plan a time to have a conversation or plan a time to hang out. I really do like you, or I really do like being friendly with my neighbors, but I also like, I'm more of a planner. Like you can put in that, like, I'm just more comfortable with planning times to get together. I'm not really spur of the moment. That's the feeling I get, is like really being comfortable with setting, because I feel like that's something that runs through a lot of the areas of your life. They're not the only one. They're just showing up really prominent. So I respect myself. These are the affirmations that would go with it, because I just asked them. I respect myself. I create this respect within me, and therefore it has to show up in my 3D, reminding me that respect shows up in my 3D. I create healthy boundaries. I respect my healthy boundaries. Therefore, that is reflected to me in my 3D. And then that thought process, like, people always respect my boundaries. Like, if you just keep that, then like, it's the same thing with like the parking spaces. I'm like, I always get a parking space when I go into Manhattan. Like, always, it's always there. I can always park for free. It's always there. Like, it happens. It's like that simple with thinking. So like, people always respect my boundaries. When some people are like in the spiritual community, oh my God, you always have to protect yourself. I've heard, very well-respected mediums and psychics say, like, you always have to create psychic boundaries. I'm like, no, you don't. Why? I don't need them. I'm good. And that's the belief system. And so that has to show up, that it just shows up that way. It is that simple. And then the other one is just a general for you. I don't know who Cupcake is. Anybody seen a cupcake here? I don't know who Cupcake is. I'm Annalisa, and that is my name. So we like to be respectful here, and using people's names is respectful. And if you can't be respectful, you don't need to be here. Okay. General for Starry Sky. Okay. Hang on just a second. There we go. Okay. I just reported Hitler's mustache because that is kind of harassing to come in here and I say I don't really appreciate that and you continue that behavior. That's a boundary. I respect boundaries. I respect myself. It's very easy. Okay. Okay, sorry, Sky. So what I got was congratulations are in order and well wishes are on their way. So it feels around, not like around, I mean, unless there was a birth, but I don't really feel that. I feel more like around like a big purchase or like maybe a promotion. Is there something going on? I go live, Archie, every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So just once a week. Though I'm thinking about doing live chatty things, kind of throwing that out there with the manifestation stuff. Starry Sky, does that make sense? With the congratulations, either a promotion or like it feels like a big purchase or something like that. You're welcome. Thank you for respectfully asking. Becky, your question was about, while I'm waiting for Starry Sky to answer that, your question was about the effexor, if that was good or bad. So the feeling I get is that it's I don't know the category of drug it's in. It feels like it's like a partial fix, but it's not like really the big thing. And then I also feel like it'll be hard for once you decide to get off of it to be done with it. Is there something that would be in a category of being like a nerve blocker or like it's something more with the neurons or like I'm getting a neural type thing? Does that make any sense? Like, is there a medication that maybe they use for that that would like be a, because I'm not getting like a bright lit up bing, bing, bing about the effects or like that's the one, that's what's going to work. Have you had your thyroid levels checked? And have you like, are you upping your B vitamins? It just feels like there's something like, it's like needing to take a different approach for all of this stuff. Thyroid levels checked twice and they're okay. Starry Sky, yes, that makes sense. Thyroid's okay. Okay. You just feel so bad. So it feels like I've been discovering lately about like different, like I started taking myo-inositol and D-chiroinositol. And it's just like they call it a B vitamin, but it's technically not. But it's like made a huge difference for me. And it just feels like there's something like little that you could take that's over the counter, like a supplement that would help you. I also feel like they're gonna, within the next like, I feel it's closer to 6 to 12 months, but it might be 18 months before this happens. And I know that's a really, really, really long time to go through what you're going through. So please don't think that I'm like going, oh, it's only, because it's a lot when you're going through it. Every day is really hard when you're going through what you're going through. I'm not dismissing that at all. But it feels like they're going to come out with something for long haulers that's like they're going to figure it out. Because I do feel like there is discovery going into long haulers and why they have it, like that they're really looking at the virus and why it affects that way for some people. And I feel like there's going to be a medication specifically towards that. And I also feel like you will end up taking a vaccine, but it might not be one of the 3 that's already like in the United States is a big one. So many supplements. Could we do this one offline where then I can kind of go back and forth with you a little bit more about like why because I don't want to recommend them, like whatever. Would you mind like us messaging back and forth a little bit later about this? I know Becky IRL. Yeah, Autumn, go ahead. And then Becky, was there a second question? I don't want to make it, I just know Becky so that's why I'm willing to do that. It's not a normal practice. Wait, Starry Sky, no or yes? I'm confused on what? Because you had 2 questions. Oh wait, I did one. So is there a promotion or what was the yes to and what was the no to? Sorry. And then Becky, did you have a second question? Or do you want to, you know what, just ask me your second question offline. We'll do it that way. And then you can go about, maybe I'll take the lottery. Listen, I am a money magnet. Money flows to me easily. It's easy to come by money. Okay, that sounds good, Becky. So whatever this is, they're talking about feeling like congratulations are in order. What's the other one? Oh, I kind of wonder if it's not around your knee surgery. You talked about like filing one way or another. Do you know how that process is going? Because it might be around that stuff and preparing yourself for that stuff. Have they talked about doing cortisone shots into your I think your right back part of your hip or your right hip? Is there something with that, or your lower spinal process or something? Like, do you have right hip issues? I'm just finishing up with Starry Sky and then I'll grab yours, Autumn, okay? And then we'll close the list. Let's see who else, if there's anybody else here. Okay. So after Patricia is 1 for Gia, the model, and then Regine for 2, and then we're done. Okay, Starry Sky, are you still here, love? Do you know where you're at in that? And then is there like something with your, like maybe your lower lumbar area that maybe that causes issue into your right hip? Or thank you, KK. Okay, Autumn, I'm going to work on yours because she's having a real hard time lately. I've been single for a long time, got several job rejections, feeling stuck and lonely. Okay, my advice will always be looking at your core belief systems. I am lonely. I am rejected. I'm not enough. I'm not lovable, right? You're focusing on that. Circumstances don't matter. So I'm totally happy on my own, and I create that happiness within me. There is nothing, and you will hear this everywhere, there is nothing outside of you that will ever bring you fulfillment. It all comes within here. That's said in Buddhism. Buddhism is find the peace within here, and then everything falls together out here, not find the peace out here, and then everything falls together in here. Not so. Circumstances do not matter. Everything is possible. Anything is possible with I am. So I am lovable. I create that love within me. I am fulfilled. I create experiences that fulfill me. The universe brings me fulfilling experiences and things. I am good. I am kind. I am worthy. I create the sense of kindness and worthiness within me. I am whole and complete just as I am. That is why the idea of twin flames and divine counterparts is bullshit. Because if you are whole and complete on your own, there is nothing outside of you that will ever complete you. You are whole and complete just as you are. So I am whole, I am complete, I am worthy, I am valuable, I accept myself. I love myself, I approve of myself, I create all of that within me. The only opinion and validation that matters is my own. The only person's opinion and validation that matters is my own. I understand that you're saying that as context, but the problem is when you say that over and over, it creates a belief system. So I actually feel like 6 months is significant for you. Like there's a huge shift for you in 6 months, and it's like finally seeing quality come in. And it's not just quality, and it doesn't mean you won't have a job before then, but it's like seeing. It's like the rain has lifted, and there's that really good smell to the grass and the greenness when you're out after a big thunderstorm. So it's like seeing the quality come in. It's like everything lifted and everything being like how the grass and the trees get really super bright green after a really big thunderstorm. Well, right before that happens, right before those rainbows show and the grass is super beautiful green and the trees are really green and it's that freshness, there's a nasty big thunderstorm. So you're in your thunderstorm right now. Will you win the lottery? I actually feel like you're going to win a little bit of money, but it's not enough to sustain you. But it might be around that whole the knee surgery or the health stuff, like getting that taken care of with the military stuff. I think that might be what it is around. Things being better overall. And it's not because God has now blessed you, this being outside that's been punishing you. I'm like watching my arms flop. It's not because of that. It's because you change your belief system in here about your value and your worth, and it has to show up outside of you. I have been studying this stuff for over 20 years, and I'm constantly learning new, and I'm constantly like, this week I'm like, holy shit, bigger, better, and like rereading stuff and going, and like more stuff hitting and impacting me. So it's not like, don't be hard on yourself like, oh, I'm not getting it in 30 days. Like, what's wrong with me? It's like, it's a fucking process. And that's okay. That's part of the journey and part of the unfolding all of it. So just be gentle and kind with yourself, and like try and let go of any guilt or shame for not having gotten stuff earlier, or for like, don't feel guilty about like, well, my self-esteem isn't great. Well, maybe you were programmed with some crappy programming, and it's just got to reprogram it. We don't look at a computer and go, I got the lowest model and now they're updating it. And they're going, yeah, cool. Use the best stuff that's coming through for you. It's a bulging disc. Okay. That's what it is. It's all of that stuff. It's all related to all of that, because I feel like it's coming. Congratulations, healing's coming, that kind of stuff. something's coming with something big, but I feel like it's related to something like that. And there was something they said before congratulations, which felt more like a, I don't know. It felt different, and I can't remember what they said. Psychic stuff. So that's what I feel, Autumn. So things are getting better. It is coming, and 6 months feels very significant. But I also feel like being gentle on yourself about like all of this manifesting stuff. I'm really like, I'm huge on this, not because it's a fad, but because it works, because I've watched it work in my life, because I've watched my life change and all the magic that happens. And again, it's a process, and you just have to like go. It's not hard to get, but there's like nuances sometimes. And sometimes it's just like, I don't know, just be gentle with yourself through it and enjoy it. Find the joy in it. And it's not always about like, it's like once it clicks, it becomes really phenomenal to see how it's been taught. Like when you start like accessing all the different people that have taught it and all the different ways they've taught it, but it's still saying the same thing. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So whatever it is, Starry Sky, I feel like that's going to get better, because it feels like that's going to get better, because I felt like there's a shot or something coming that's going to heal that. All right, Autumn, I'm going to leave you with that. But listen to me. It doesn't get better unless you decide to make it better, right? You have to like, it's not your fault that you had this shitty programming, that we all got crappy programming, because let's be honest, we all have our own stuff. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to make the change. And it is only your responsibility. There is no pie in the sky that's going to do that for you. You have to do the work. And the work is shifting the belief systems here. Okay, Leo sign, let me see. What did you write? Where and when will I find my new wife? Single since 2012. I'm going to tell you the same damn thing over and over and over. You said you were desperate at the beginning, right? You use that word. I'm desperate to find someone, because you think somebody outside of you is going to create this sense of wholeness. And I am saying this with all the love in the world. There is no one outside of you that will ever make you feel whole and complete. They will add to your journey. They will be fun to share that experience with, but they aren't the answer. Something happened for you in 2019. They just showed me that year, 2019, being very significant. It's a feeling of like a shattering, but yet having a breakthrough. Like maybe that's when you started to look into more of the spiritual stuff and like looking at the bigger picture. And it just feels like having this sense of really big belief come through, but then not really fully getting, like still feeling like it's outside of you and it's not within you. You lost your job in 2019. Did that force you into sort of like a more spiritual awareness? Seashells, the list is closed. I'm not taking any new people on the list, and they are paid readings. Yes. Okay. From New Jersey on Facebook, visiting Sweden, interested in me. Yeah. To me. It's not about you that she changed her mind. It's the feeling of how she had her own awakening and awareness of like why she was choosing someone so far away who was kind of unavailable, when there's that big difference, right? So my sense is like kind of in this like space of like now discovering you found me for a reason, right? Now discovering that really you're completely powerful by yourself. you create your own reality, and you create the experiences that you have. So it's not to go like, why would I create being alone? Well, it's like, it's that if I have this belief system of I can never find anybody, nobody ever wants to stay, like they're interested in, then all of a sudden they lose interest, like this abandonment, like I have something good and, I always lose it. It's like, you have to shift that, because if you have that belief system here, it has to show up in your 3D. It has to show up some way in your 3D. So when you start to really understand this law, rather than calling it, like when you look in the Bible and it says Lord, I'm trying to think of one that was, change it to law and it'll make more sense. The law of, not the law of karma, but the law of I am, the law of assumption, creation. You're welcome. So I understand. See, well, maybe, you know what? Maybe, Seashells, you'll garner some information from here that will help you along on your journey just by listening. That does happen sometimes. So it just feels like if you get that spark of light and shift your belief systems, that, Lauren Jane, I cannot do mediumship without you present. You have to be here for that one. So I called you. I'll come back to you in a minute. I'm in the middle of another one right now. I have to have you be present for it. It's too hard when you're not here, because I can just give you information, but if I'm not getting the validation that I'm connecting with the right person, like I'm like, here's a guy. What do you think? Okay, so I'm sorry, Leo Sign. Please forgive me for those interruptions. It just feels like once you shift that, everything opens up. Because I even feel like even when I'm getting a job, it's mediocre, it's not quite right. It's like feeling like it's that another ho hum energy of like everything just happens, and I'm like the victim of circumstance. Not that I think you're a victimhood, but it's like sort of like that idea of like it just happens, and I'm just, everything's happening to me again. It's that powerless thing. Okay, so here's the thing. You're in that thing of hope instead of it will happen. So it's the I am is I met someone. People are just flocking to me. I'm desirable. I create that sense of desire within me. I am wanted. I am chosen. I am amazing. I am wonderful. Go to Dylan James. Like, I'm going to put affirmations up very, very soon. And then I'm going to start pushing you guys to mine because I like it. Because why not? But go and listen to these. Start listening to like reading affirmations. Go to research Florence Scovel Shinn. She's got affirmations. She was born in 1871 and died in like 1941, I think. Something around there. But like it's old, but if you shift the words around a little bit, again, change Lord to law, it has to happen. It has to show up. Okay. It has to show up. So it's not like, oh, I hope that means you're putting doubt out there. And so then that's what has to show up is the doubt, the lack, the limit. I literally feel like you're going to grab a hold of this and move with this, but I think it's going to take you a couple weeks to decide that I'm right about it and try it. So my feeling is in like 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to go, I'll just give it a try. Why not? And then you're going to do it. And then it's like, it just starts to happen and click. And I don't feel like you'll necessarily meet the one, but what I feel like happens will, like somebody shows up in the app, like starts quality dates start showing up, and somebody shows up that hasn't been in there. And that feels about 3 months before you actually get into a relationship and start a relationship. Okay. Okay. Evan, Lauren Jane, are you here still? You're welcome. Lauren Jane, are you here still? So make sure that you're being powerful, because if you're constantly feeling like, it's even this idea, if you have this idea of like, well, in divine timing, and there is something to be said for divine timing, but if you're like if you get a reading for someone and they go, it's not going to happen for 8 years, instead of just being like, well, I guess I'm not ready yet for another 8 years, instead of like taking life by the balls and be like, I'm ready now, like taking I am ready, I am powerful. Like, what I think is beautiful about readings is not that I'm always right. It's that you look at the timing of it. And if you don't like what it is, then I need to shift something here so it shows up the way I want it to show up in my 3D. Or you need to shift something that says like, everything falls into place perfectly. Everything always falls into place perfectly for me. Everything's always working out in my favor. Lauren Jane, are you here still? This is driving me crazy, Lauren Jane. You got to stay here, or I really can't do your readings for you. So if you're not present for mediumship readings, I cannot do them for you. So I'm going to refund your money if you're not showing up after this. Okay. So, Kay. Because it's like one of those things where I feel like it's sort of disrespectful of my time and everybody else who's waiting and all of that stuff. Okay, was told by several mediums that my future wife is about to manifest within the next 3 months, and that big change is on the rise. Tap in to see what you pick up on. Really eager to meet her. It's one of those things where I still feel like you're focusing on not, so stop focusing on it. I do feel like it'll happen, but I feel like it's not even so much about the timing. Is it about like ignore it? Like, okay, I know she's going to show up, so let me get busy on doing other, like I've got stuff that needs to be taken care of in my house. I need to like thin out stuff. I need to reorganize all these projects I need to do. So I know you're eager about it, but it feels like that, that saying, I heard Baba Jolie say that she does tarot readings on here. I really like her. She says, and it's an old saying, it's not just hers, but she's the reason why I was thinking of it. It's like a watched pot never boils. So it feels like really like the minute you're like just busy doing something else and not worrying about it and just get in the mindset, I know she's here. I know I have her. I'm not worried about it. She'll show up when it's like, that's what it feels like. Like the minute, and I feel like meeting through somebody else or meeting through an event or something, not necessarily through an app. Just be patient knowing she's on her way. In the meantime, yes, work on you and focus on you. Yep. Because that's what I feel like. I literally do. I do feel like she's right here and she's, it's not far, but it's like, do something else, because you're focusing on it is like, it's like makes her keep missing the bus that she needs to be on to hit this stop. And they're kind of like, do your own thing. But I do feel like she is right here. I do feel like it's very close. Do your workouts. Work on you. Finally, Lauren Jane, you're killing me here. You're killing me. Okay. I can do the mediumship if you're here. Can I do the mediumship for you now that you're here? You're welcome, Kay. Can I do the mediumship now that you're here? If not, I'll do the general. It's up to you. It's just very hard to do mediumship when someone's not here, because then like, if I'm getting something, I'm like, I don't know if this is for you. Like it's like, think of the old timey little phone things that you see in old movies where the woman's like putting all the things in. Like, I feel like I'm doing that to make sure I have the right line. Whereas like, if I have a picture, I can be like, oh, direct phone call. Good. Yeah. Gia, go ahead. Just type your question. That's fine. No problem. So do you want the general reading? I'll do the general reading. You probably can't say. Okay. So oh, Patricia, did you? No, you know what it is? Lauren Jane was way up at the top. So you didn't get skipped. You were actually my very next person. You did not get skipped. I'm going back up to Lauren Jane because she showed up. I didn't skip you. So Lauren Jane, this is like what I want to say is when you're frustrated with people outside of you, and this is like also a message to me. But they're sort of saying like when you're seeing things show up about things not working out the right way for you or feeling like it's not, they're sort of like go within and figure out what belief system you have there that's making things not show up and work out for you the right way, or making it's like I try this and I put my best effort in and I assume it's going to end, like it just doesn't, never, everything kind of falls through and it's not working out the way I want it to. By the way, when I connected in with Evan, I felt this feeling of not being able to breathe. Do you relate to that? Are you still here? So they're sort of saying you need to shift your thought process and things will flow a little bit easier. Did the connection with Evan and the not being able to breathe thing make sense? Your energy feels very distracted. He has a message if you'll answer. Okay. Patricia, do you want to go ahead and type your question? Oh, I saw a doctor, but said I had no allergies. Nothing was. Okay. So I actually feel like you get anxiety. Okay. Lauren Jane, what I heard was it does. No, I'm not talking about you, Evan. I'm talking about Evan. Okay, so my feeling around Evan is Evan says, "This is what I'm going to give to you. So take it or leave it, since you won't you won't answer these questions about Evan." You are a help seeker, help rejector, and have always been a help seeker, help rejector. So it's like I'm having all of this stuff. So it's almost like you want to connect with Evan, but then you don't really. It's almost like this slight fear of finding out what the answer is, and it's sort of like let that go. Like if you assume that something's going to be bad, you're going to draw that into your life. So assume that everything is fine and working out in your favor and it will be fine. That's the feeling I got. And the feeling around Evan I wasn't seeing a face or whatever. There's still this distant feeling around him, but it's that feeling of not being able to breathe. So I'm going to leave you with that. I don't know if it makes any sense. Yes. Okay. So I felt like that, like, yeah, not being able to breathe, like whatever. But so the feeling I get is he's talking about you having always been like the help seeker, help rejector. So what that means is, and I'm not judging you at all, but what it means is like going to someone for help and they suggest like give you a suggestion to how to make something better, and then going, well, no, and having all these reasons why that won't work. And he's sort of saying like, instead of worrying about how things aren't going to work, just decide that you don't have to have the answer about how it's going to work out, that yes, it's just going to work out. Okay. I don't know if you can validate that would make any sense or not, but that's the feeling I get, is just trusting that everything's always falling in your favor and working out. Anxiety and fear and doubt is the ego. That's the lower self. That's not your higher self. That's not intuition. That's not something bigger, the universe. That's this lower part that keeps you stuck. And it's okay that you have that. But I think that there's ways to use it to your advantage. Maybe use it as, okay, this is telling me I'm not in alignment. Where am I not in alignment? What belief system do I have that's keeping me out of alignment? All right, Patricia, now I promise I'm all yours. So Patricia, the feeling I get is maybe it's not even the avocado and the tomato, but it's the pesticide or something that they're using in the process of it, either a cleaning or something like that. Or it's like something that's not necessarily. And then the other part I say is like the obvious, like stop eating them for a while and then reintroduce them into your diet. It could be the farm that they're at, where they're grown, like whatever. So I would pay attention to what kind of tomatoes you're getting, where they're grown, are they organic? I don't feel like avocados necessarily need to be organic, but it just feels like, yeah. But even then, there could still be something like within the environment that they're grown in that's creating something. So stop eating them for a while and then reintroduce one at a time, not both of them. And I will tell you this, my daughter showed up with stuff where I was like, nope, there's something here. Like I could see physical evidence of her, clinical evidence of her having an allergic reaction, and it wasn't showing up enough for the doctor to be like, that's something. But it was enough for me to stop having her eat peanuts for a while and then reintroducing them. And it was enough for me to for watermelon, when she was really little, she broke out in hives. And then the doctor was like, oh, sometimes it's just having it whatever, that it's not an actual allergy, but it can create an irritation. So it just feels like, then I wouldn't worry about it. Just maybe I hate to say this is what it is, but it feels like something external that's related to it. And then it just might be something you can't eat anymore. But it doesn't feel like it's the tomato or the avocado itself. It feels like something in the environment that they're grown in. Like they're showing me outside of it. Cooked tomatoes might work for you. I'm getting safer than not. But I just feel like it might just be something that you can't. Yeah. So you can touch it, but it's fine. But if you eat it, then you have an issue. So it may not show up on a blood test as being an allergy. I mean, my thing is just don't eat tomatoes. Just don't eat avocado. You may really like them, but if it look, I like portobello mushrooms. I'm going to try and reintroduce them, but the last time I ate them, they were fine forever. And then all of a sudden I ate them and they were giving me, because now for some reason at my age, instead of having hives and external hives, I get the histamine delivered into my stomach. So where just I'm in massive pain if I eat certain things. And so it was all of a sudden I ate a portobello mushroom and I was like, I love mushrooms. So, well, I'm just not going to eat them, because it's either that or take Benadryl every time I eat it. And then I'm like, so, but I wouldn't stress out over it, I guess, is the feeling I get. Yeah. Like I said, my daughter's stuff, for the peanut stuff, didn't show up in her blood work. Egg did. But even then, she was saying, the level of egg allergy that shows up in blood work shouldn't produce the response that she was getting on her skin reactions, that it perplexed her. It also perplexed her when she grew out of them, but that was my with somebody that's a naturopathic type thing, I would go with a word of mouth thing, just like with a psychic or a medium. Go with somebody who's been to them and says yeah, they're really good, or I trust them, whatever. Okay, that's it for that. Gia, I'm going to do yours now. And then Regine, if you have your questions ready. I got messages from Spirit intuitively about my family members and my kids. It happens randomly, but I can't connect or tune in. Is in there a reason why I can't? Or I always going to be random? No. Your abilities are not random. I used to think that they were random for me, and then I learned that I could tune in and that a lot of the stuff that I was getting. So it's literally like, sometimes I will say this, sometimes it's a little harder when it's like a loved one, because there's the mix of like that fear about what you're going to get. So if you can get in a really calm state, that's where meditation is going to help with you. Like, I'm not a huge, like, you have to meditate in order to connect. You don't. I don't meditate before I do these things, but when it's something that's a little bit more, you're a little more emotionally connected to, it's easier to go drop into a meditation. And then you set the intention before you do it that, like, I'll easily connect. This is the information I would like. This is what I would like information on or clarity on, and wait for the answer. And if you don't necessarily get it in that moment, you'll get it eventually. The other thing that really helps is practice. That's where, like, my psychic development circles, it's not me teaching. It's literally me, like, you getting a message and me walking you through and helping you expand on your message and really deliver something. And me helping you find, and then also some of the other members end up helping too. Like, this works for me. This works for me. This is where I'm blocked. Saying, though, that I can't do something or I am blocked keeps that block there. So one thing I started always saying is like, I'm divinely connected. I always receive information with complete clarity. It comes really quickly and easily. Like, I just decided that. I didn't used to read this quickly. I didn't used to get the information this way. I just decided that, and it sort of all started happening, and opportunities for my own growth started coming. So it's not all about just like magically getting it. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's about the opportunities coming for you to grow in your ability. It's definitely something you're going to connect into. I feel like in 2 months, it's going to start to happen where you're actively learning to open up and connect. All right, Regine. Congratulations. I feel like he's taller, so 6 foot or taller. He's a very big smile, and he's a very kind heart. He's a very good listener. So if these are things you have been writing, that's what I'm feeling, like a really good active listener, very supportive. I don't know what he does, but I feel like he's really smart, and whatever it is, it's a professional job. So I don't necessarily feel like I'm necessarily showing up in like a doctor's uniform or a suit every day, but I feel professional, like, and well respected. And literally, I just heard out of nowhere, I meet him out of nowhere. I actually feel like, so instead of like a traditional 4-year thing, I mean, it might be, but it might be not you going to classes for 4 years. It might be like an accelerated program of some sort. So it might not be the full 4 years. I don't know how that works out, but it feels like a little bit accelerated. Okay, Geneva, I'm going to refund your money because the list is closed. And if you'll come back next week, I am here every Sunday. I actually just finished with my last question. So I'm going to refund it. But I will be back next Sunday. So if you'll join us next Sunday, I start at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I would love for you to join us and ask your question then. Okie doke, I just refunded your money. You should have that back already. And I really do appreciate you understanding that. You're welcome, Gia. Oh, well, I already sent it. But thank you. But will you come back next week? I would really love it. That would be wonderful. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your company, and I appreciate your trust and respect in being here today. I will see you next Sunday. Have an amazing week. Pay attention to your thoughts. What are you I-aming? What are you saying to yourself on a regular basis? And if you find that it's not kind or gentle or empathetic, then shift it. All right, enjoy your journey. I will see you next week.